what is elasticity? Elasticity is the property of object by virtue of which if it is deformed it tries to regain its shape. अपना शेप को वापस करने का ट्राई करेगा, ठीक है. तो elasticity is a property by virtue of which, लिख लो, elasticity is a property by virtue of which an object tries to regain its shape after getting deformed. तो डिफॉर्म किया तो वो वापस अपना शेप रिगेन करेगा. जैसे कि हाइड्रोजन, इफ यू कंसीडर द हाइड्रोजन molecule, if we try to pull it, so we are trying to deform it, ठीक है. So it will experience a restoring force and it will try to regain its original bond length. And if every molecule does the same thing inside a solid, then what does it mean? The solid will try to regain its original shape. So if we take a wire and try to pull it, then what will happen? If we take a wire, suppose we have a wire and we are drawing a very thin wire. If you look at it with a microscope, then we are having what? We are having large number of molecules or atoms present like this, joined with spring-like bonds. And if you pull it from one side, suppose you pull it from this side, then what will happen? Suppose you pull it and increase the length by some amount, then every bond will increase in its length, and as a result they will produce some restoring force, and the whole wire will produce some restoring force. So the wire will behave like a spring as a whole. So this is the reason behind the elasticity. ठीक है. तो elasticity का definition लिखे, ठीक है. definition लिख लो इसके बारे में कि it occurs due to restoring forces developed by chemical bonds. Now, if we have to study the elasticity with some proper method, scientific method, then we need to define some terms. So first we will define strain. ठीक है. First we will define strain. What is strain? Strain. So what is strain? Strain is, देखो हम लोग जो स्टडी करते हैं ना, स्टडी इज फर्स्ट कैटेगराइज्ड इनटू, फर्स्ट two terms are required. First is the amount of deformation, how much the object has deformed, and second is the cause of deformation, and then we have to relate. So amount of deformation can be what? The change in shape, ठीक है, the change in length of wire, the change in area of, if a plate is given, change in area of plate, or a change in volume of an object, or if a wire is there, if it is twisted, the change in angle. So this can be the amount of deformation. So deformation is studied under the topic strain. And the second is stress. Stress is the cause of strain, or stress is the what? Stress is the cause of strain, or it is the cause for deformation. ठीक है. तो पहले हम लोग स्ट्रेन देखेंगे, क्या क्या स्ट्रेन हम लोग देख सकते हैं, क्या क्या टाइप के हो सकते हैं स्ट्रेन. सो इसमें हम लोग देखते हैं स्ट्रेन में, सपोज वी कंसीडर ए वायर and if we stretch it by some force, then if you take a 1 meter wire and stretch it by force, and suppose it elongates by a length 1 centimeter. So for 1 meter of wire, if we stretch by some force, it elongates by 1 centimeter. Now take half meter wire and stretch it by same force. It stretches only by 0.5 centimeter. Okay. So that absolute value of stretch or absolute value of change in shape is not that significant, but what we study is the fractional change. So what is fractional change? The change in shape divided by the original shape. Means the change in length of wire divided by the original length. ठीक है? तो एब्सोल्यूट वैल्यू, अगर मान लो कोई बड़ा ऑब्जेक्ट लिया है, ठीक है, मान लो इतना, अब इसका कहाँ कहाँ यूज होता है, बिल्डिंग में, बिल्डिंग बनाने में, ब्रिज बनाने में, ये सब खास करके यहीं पर यूज होता है. सो इफ यू कंसीडर दिस बिल्डिंग, if you want to find due to its own weight how much the length has been decreased due to its weight, the building will be compressed by its own weight, and all the beams and pillars will decrease in its length. If there is no weight, its length will be little more. So that small change in length divided by its original length is defined as strain. So what is strain? Strain is the deformation divided by the original shape. ठीक है? तो लिख लो. Strain is deformation in the object divided by original shape and size. Original shape and size. ठीक है? Original shape. तो ये तो एक crude definition हुआ. Now we will see. Strain is divided into 3 types. So the first is longitudinal strain. Longitudinal strain. Second is shear strain. And third is volume strain. Longitudinal strain, shear strain and volume strain. What is longitudinal strain? It is corresponding to a wire or a rod. Because the wire and rod has only one dimension. If we apply some force, whatever will be the change in length divided by original length will be called longitudinal strain. ठीक है? तो लिखो definition of longitudinal strain. The change in length divided by length. This is called longitudinal strain. Okay, what will be unit of strain? Unitless quantity. So that is the benefit of studying strain instead of directly studying the deformation. If you study deformation, you have to write in centimeter, meter, meter square, volume will be meter cube, like that. But if you study the strain, they are unitless quantity. So this is the longitudinal strain. Now shear strain. तो ये जो हो गया, ये किसके लिए हो गया? ये वायर के लिए हो गया. एक वायर है, इसको ऐसे खींचे तो क्या होगा? लेंथ बढ़ गया, ठीक है? या कॉम्प्रेस किए तो घट जाएगा. So longitudinal strain can also be divided into 2 categories. One is for compression and second is for expansion. ठीक है? So longitudinal strain can be further divided into 2 parts. One is compressive strain and second is tensile strain. Compressive strain and tensile strain. longitudinal strain are for what kind of objects? For one dimensional objects. लिख लो इसको. Longitudinal strains are for one dimensional objects. For rod, wire, this kind of objects. Okay. Next we will see the shear strain. So what is this shear strain? If we have a object like this, lower part is fixed on the ground. If we apply a force in this direction, if you apply a force, what will happen? This object will tilt by some amount. ये होगा. If you apply some force, this object will tilt by some amount. So this kind of a strain is called shear strain. Is it clear? If we have some object and we apply a force and we get this kind of tilting, then it is shear strain. देखो difference क्या है इसमें? जो यहाँ पर force लग रहा है ना, surface के parallel लग रहा है. यहाँ पर जो surface है ना, surface के along लग रहा था. वो हम लोग stress में देखेंगे. Same चीज stress में भी आएगा. Force कैसे लगता है उसको देखेंगे. तो strain here will be theta. ठीक है, थीटा इज द स्ट्रेन. अब जैसे बुक है, मान लो एक मोटा बुक है, उसको हम लोग एक साइड से पुश करेंगे तो टेढ़ा हो जाता है ना थोड़ा सा. सपोज ये बुक की तरह है, ऊपर से फोर्स लगाया थोड़ा सा टेढ़ा हो जाता है. ठीक है, तो दिस एंगल थीटा इज द shear strain. थर्ड इज वॉल्यूम strain. This volume strain is what? Corresponding to a pressure. If we apply pressure on a liquid or solid or gas, its size will decrease. So that kind of strain is called volume strain. Okay. So change in volume divided by total volume is called volume strain. Delta V by V. लिखो, change in volume divided by total volume is called shear strain. Those two strains are only for solids, first two, but this last one can be for solid, liquid and gases, all the three. First two strains are only for solids, but the last strain, the volume strain, can be for solid, liquid and gases. ठीक है? Okay. Similarly, we will study stress.